Yo, bitches. Um. Okay, let's just dial it back a notch. Um. So this is an. Oh, let's have a good scratch. I've had a shave this morning. Haven't had a shave this morning. Thing about transgender is like, oh, like you've got to have a fucking shave. I mean, do I look like? Well, I don't know. Do I look like I got to have a fucking shave? I mean, look at my face, look at my features. Do I look like I got to have a fucking shave? You know what I mean? Fucking sick of it, to be honest. Oh, God. Oh, God. I better get myself together. I thought that, I'd got it all out of my system because I'm pissed off with my mom. Um, I thought that I got it all out of my system, by writing it down, you know. But this is an experimental video. This is a video that's going to be, if I have the creativity and inspiration, which I probably will have, it's, how can I put this? What I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a half-hour video, right? I can make them up to 45 minutes, but I'm going to make them up to half an hour, make it half an hour. Just under half an hour. Just for the first time, you know, don't go straight to 45 minutes, you know, just go to under half an hour. And go to iMovie and try and edit it and send it up, you know. Because, like, iMovie is actually signed into my Google account, so it should know, there should be some sharing of data between the two. And it should know that I'm entitled to make videos up to 45 minutes long, you know what I mean? It should know that. I remember the days of like, okay, so I rang Apple, yeah. This is quite a while ago now. I rang Apple and I says to her like, oh, no matter what I do, it will not, you know, even if I make like a 2-minute video, it will not upload to YouTube. She just got me to sign out of YouTube inside the iMovie app and sign back in again. And it solves the problem. So, and I remember the days of like before that, before I actually had to go that far, you know, actually ring Apple Care, you know, I was going on the internet loads of times trying to figure out how to sort this thing out. I mean, I remember one thing that I did was I changed it to most compatible format, you know, on the actual camera. The actual, you go through settings and you get to camera. You can go into camera and you can have it on like what format it shoots in. And I had it on most compatible format because the internet said that was it. YouTube wasn't recognizing like the latest codec, which is a fancy word for type of file, the latest type of file that like Apple was using for video. So yeah, I was gonna do a mukbang, but I don't really fancy eating melon right now. I do, you know, I've really got to write a lot of stuff down. I've got to write a lot more stuff down and get a lot more out of my system. I really need to. And I don't know if I said this on YouTube, but I actually psychically got someone's name. I've never seen this person before in my life. I knew her name. I said her name and she said, "That's my name. You must be psychic." So, you know, I guess this comes from watching Gigi Young and like having a bit of her, what she's called an intuitive, right? So her intuitiveness, you know, rubbing off on me, you know. I'm not claiming to be like, I'm not saying like I'm as psychic as Gigi Young. That's not what I'm saying, but I do remember that um the first Gigi Young video that I ever watched that got me into the modern Gigi Young videos, because it's from a long time in the past. She's been doing YouTube videos for God knows how long, you know, for years and years, for like a decade. It's got to be a decade. Um, she was saying how like she was on holiday and had this weird experience where her laptop was open, and when she woke up, this spiritual video was playing on it, you know, and it literally changed her life. It made her believe in the in what can't be seen, what can only be believed on faith, you know. And from there, I get, you know, this is purely my imagination, but I guess from there she started going down that rabbit hole, you know, practicing harder and harder and harder on how to be an intuitive, how to be psychic, how to be intuitive, learning about like things that can only be believed on faith, you know, learning about it real hard. And you know, it's amazing how far she's come in let's say it was 10 years. She looked about 20, so it's probably about 10 years, you know. Look how far she's come in 10 years. So like if I want to be an intuitive, um I guess to be real, that's my what happened to me today was my first experience of like it's similar to like when she was on holiday, yeah, in Tokyo or somewhere, and her laptop was open and it was playing this thing, you know, and it was like a spiritual experience. It's similar to that. It's like my first spiritual experience, and I don't know. I'm shaking. I know that I'm shaking, but I can't help it. Yeah. So I guess that I'm on my journey. You know, I want to say that it's, how do I put this? I want to say that we're like level, not in like an arrogant way, you know, oh, I'm as intuitive as Gigi Young, but I want to say we're level because we're both human beings, we're both people, we're both like woke, you know, we're both, you know, similar in lots of ways, you know, and I feel that being intuitive is simply something that is learned, you know, something that comes through hard work, learning about, I don't even know what word to call it, you know. She taught, I mean, the videos I've seen from her have been about sort of like, in fact, one of her meditations gave me this experience where I saw a previous life of mine. I was on a planet, it's called Tova, and, I'll turn, yeah, and, it's, I believe it to be in Alpha Centauri, purely because I have this obsession with Alpha Centauri. Um, and I don't even know where I was going with that. I see us as equal. I see learning. Oh yes, the kind of things that she talks about. She talks about like she's so varied. I mean, this is one of the things. I mean, I can't really pick. I could pick something like, for example, she talked about all the different the way people from different planets, yeah, like I don't know what planets they were. I mean, she if it's some were Pleiadian and some were like, from other places, and like how they looked physically, some had like big blotches, like freckles, huge, humongous freckles, and some had like haircuts like with a fringe and long hair down to here, and um she was talking about how they looked in one of her videos, and it's simply, I guess where she gets all this information is from doing readings for people, and this is what comes to her. The question is, am I interested in being a psychic? Am I interested? I mean, yes, it was fun. It was fun to know that girl's name. And I wouldn't say that I want to be the kind of psychic where I'm telling people things about themselves, because I don't I think what that's going to mean is that I don't resonate with it, because there's going to be a lot of people coming to me with like, I want to know this, I want to know that, and it's simply things that they don't have the right to know. You know what I mean? They don't have the right to know any of that. To get to a place spiritually, and to get to a higher vibration involves many different. It may include many different faiths. It may include many different intuitives on YouTube. It may include learning about them. This is just from my story, It may include reading like scriptures, like Hindu scriptures or the Bible or something like that, Personally, I don't believe in organized religion. I don't believe in it. Yeah, sometimes I do watch, what's his name? Nityananda. Sometimes I do watch Nityananda. I find him very interesting. And he's kind of an organized religion. I mean, his church is a very small church. It's nothing, it's a drop in the ocean compared to like the size of the Catholic Church, here in Europe. It's just like Bengaluru Ardenham, it's just one place in Bengaluru. So yeah, I wouldn't want to do readings for people, because I don't want to be like, I think what's very dangerous with spirituality is trying to grow too fast. I think one thing that people don't understand is how fast they're growing already. And this is from my story, because for 3 years I was isolated and I had depression. Really, really bad. I would have suicidal feelings so often, because I was literally mixing with no one. My mum didn't really want to know me at all. I'd see her every 2 or 3 weeks, in a situation where I literally had no one in my life, not one person, And she had like all her friends in Gamlingay. She'd go to, for example, on a Tuesday, she'd go to Scrabble, and then she'd have lunch, a social lunch. On Monday, she'd have bingo in the afternoon. On Wednesday, she'd be free, but now she has ladies at lunch on Wednesday. On Thursday, she'd go to St. Neots with a bus full of these people. and she'd have bingo in the afternoon. On Friday she'd be free. On Saturday she'd pop down to Biggleswade. You know, she had a very full social life, you know, and she had no empathy for my suffering, you know. That's just relevant, you know, it's just relevant. But I want to get to the actual point of what I was saying, and it's not bitterness. It's that I was growing like crazy while I was in this period of depression. I was growing like crazy, and I thought that growth equaled or meant getting out of depression, and it doesn't. You know, if a person, you meet anybody, you know, isolates themselves socially, it doesn't matter how spiritually advanced they are, you know, they're gonna be still stuck in depression. And I feel that people will be coming to me wanting answers to spiritual questions in a hope that it will be fixing the pain in their life. They'll have some kind of pain in their life. I mean, depression being a good example, you know. I'm thinking that learning something about themselves spiritually will heal that pain. That's what I'm scared of, because that's my own story, and that because it's my own story, it's the strongest story that I've got, and it's the story with the strongest impact on me, you know. So that's what I'm scared of there. Um, I mean, for some reason, I see myself as kind of starting out. Um, I can only say that I've been into spirituality for since sort of September 2011. That's when my life just got totally destroyed. And I feel that what it was the forces of darkness on this planet. You know, call it the Illuminati or whatever. Trying to literally destroy me. I mean, I could have been killed. I came very close to death. I looked death in the face. That's just a saying that people use. I looked at death right right up close to death. I looked at death, and I looked at like the situation of like not existing anymore, you know, because I had my spirituality wasn't strong enough at that point, and I was just right at the beginning. Why, when I saw death, I just saw nothing. I just saw nothingness forever, you know, and it gave me post-traumatic stress disorder because it was such an emotionally painful feeling, you know. It really was. Um, it was literally like being an animal being slaughtered in the slaughterhouse. You know, it really was bad. Um, and this happened to me in the magistrate's court. And like I say, I feel like it was the forces of darkness trying to stop me from expanding spiritually, because they knew or know my worth. They know the work I'm going to do on this planet to heal it. It seems that there are powers that want to, that are competing with the light, you know, the light of source, the light of like, you know how a person improves their life, improves their self by getting into spirituality? Well, I think there are forces that are opposed to that, forces that feel that the way to go forward is to use everyone, is to be some kind of like, for example, you could become a rich person, yeah, And you could just, for example, you could be like a coyote. You could traffic. This is a huge trigger warning. I realize that. You could traffic people. You could enslave them. You can make them buy your products from your shop at huge prices, so you could get all the money back basically that you're paying them, and essentially they're working for free. You could be that kind of evil person, and I think that kind of energy, that kind of power, it must have some kind of clout on this planet, because when I decided that I wanted to be good, I read the Bible, started reading the Bible, and I decided I wanted to be good. I had these powers trying to stop me. Yeah, so I can say that I've been into spirituality since September 2011, so it's getting on for roughly, if I round it off, roughly 10 years. So I guess, I guess I'm doing all right, I guess that, I mean, for me personally, I don't know why, but I fell. As a kid, I was a very happy kid. I was autistic. And I don't want to get into that too much because I don't know where the blame lies for me being autistic, but I was autistic, and I was a very happy kid, a very happy kid. I was happy around my brothers and sisters. I had a big family. When we lived in Byfield, I had a brother and a sister. My two sisters had left. I had a brother and a sister, and a mother and a father. And I think it was the presence of my brother and sister in the same house with me that made me so happy. I think I don't know if back in them days, those days were the days where I don't know, like there isn't really an era for anything. Like anything can happen in any era, I know that, but I don't know if that was the era where your parents were actually allowed to love you, you know. And I still think that the era we're in now is an era where parents are not allowed to love their children. I see that. I do see that. And I think a lot of what Teal Swan teaches backs that up very, very strongly. I mean, if a person were to get into Teal Swan very heavily, like read the completion process, watch her videos, a person would realize that what she's talking about is the truth. It's not like a black and white kind of truth. I mean, some of it is like a bit of grey areas, but she is very, very full of the truth. And I think even nowadays, parents are not allowed to treat their children with respect. Anyway, this video's gone on for long enough, so I will try to edit it. I'll upload it right now, because the good thing about the iPhone that I've got is that it uploads while I film. So all I have to do is name the video, and then press upload, and all it will do is have to process the video. That's all I have to do, which will take about a minute, and then it's up. But then I'll go back to iMovie, choose this file and edit it, and then put it up again and delete the one that's up there. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're into my crazy stuff, then we should salute each other. I'll see you later. Goodbye.